Hey, third hour. Just wanted to bring a little insight on the packet that you received from Mrs. Ruth today. It's the packet that's labeled the Creed. The first page that's attached on the front is the FFA Creed in its entirety. It's got 5 paragraphs, and that's pretty much the basis for what else is in the rest of the packet. So if you look at the second page, there's a box or there's tables that are in there. And it says there's a line, a word, or a phrase. And then it says next to it on the right that you'll be providing an explanation of the phrase, the word, or the line of the creed. The first line that's in the first table says, with a faith born, not of words, but of deeds. So basically, what you and one partner are doing together is that you are providing an explanation for what does that mean. So a lot of the phrases you will not understand because this was written in 1930. So this isn't common language. Think of it kind of like the Romeo and Juliet plays. Very old type language. So there's a lot of interpreting that has to happen in order for you to understand what is going on in the creed. So if we get back to that first line, with a faith born not of words but of deeds. I asked fourth hour, I asked them, what does it mean to have faith? And they responded that faith is something that you believe in. Maybe it's your values or the virtues that your family had instilled upon you since you were very young. And I totally agree with that. And then it says faith born, if we put those two words together. And so we kind of came up to the idea that faith born means that they're values or virtues that you're born with. Okay, so that's the first part of the explanation for with a faith born. The last part of it says with a faith born of words, not of deeds. So what does it mean? What phrase do you think of when you hear of words, not of deeds? What fourth hour and I discussed is that they thought it meant less talk, more action is kind of how they interpreted that. And so what they wrote in their explanation is that we have to use the values that we're born with to act upon rather than to say what we're going to do to provide for others. These explanations there's no right or wrong answer necessarily, as long as it's based on how you and your partner interpret the phrase or the word. So for instance, the next line that's underneath it says agriculturists. So we know that the most common agriculturist is farmers, but farmers are not the only agriculturists that's out there. So in your explanation, you're providing who are agriculturists and maybe what do they do, a brief sentence about that. So you'll be working through the five paragraphs of the creed throughout those tables, you and a partner. And when you're done, the last page is a fill in the blank. Now, clearly, I've given you the entire creed on the first page. So could you copy down word for word what it says? Yeah, absolutely. But the second part of this assignment is that you're going to be memorizing the creed. So how I think this looks like for you is that you kind of repeat the creed to yourself a couple times. You're going to work through those tables so that way you can... Oakley. No. Sorry, my dog is playing with his toys. So, after you get done working through those tables, you're also going to... That's him. He's mad that I took his toy. So you're also going to kind of look at the creed and start memorizing it, because by the time that it's done, you will have recited the whole FFA creed. If you look on the board, it says that there are 2 assignments. The first one is that the packet is due on Monday, and the second part is that the first paragraph of the creed is memorized. So make sure that when you're going through this, that last page especially, and you're doing the fill in the blanks, that you're doing it pretty intentionally, because you're going to have to get up in front of the class and recite the first paragraph of the creed. If you're one of those people that memorizes pretty easily, once you have that first paragraph memorized, go ahead and move on to the second paragraph, third paragraph, however far it gets you. On Monday, we'll take volunteers, whoever has it memorized and wants to go first and get it done and over with. We will do that, and then so on and so forth. And that's the basis of this assignment. What I didn't tell you is that as an 8th grade FFA member, there are 3 things that we have to get through. One is that you have to give a speech, which we just got done with, and you all have done. The second thing is that you have to recite the creed, which we're working on now. And the last thing that we'll start before break is that we're going to work through parliamentary procedure, also known as conduct of meetings. So those are the things that are coming up, and we're almost done with all of those things. So get working. Please work quietly, and even though you'll be working with a partner, and you can keep those packets and bring them back with you to class on Friday. Excuse me. You have today and tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, to work on those, and then you turn them in on Monday. You can work on them over the weekend if you don't get those done. So I hope this brings a little bit more insight to what the packet is. I know without me being there, it's kind of hard to get that explanation. So work through that together. And if there are any questions, feel free to text me. I'll be sitting in a board meeting most of the day, so I will be able to answer those text messages, but I won't be able to check my email or Google Classroom. So definitely text me. Just a reminder, make sure that if you haven't already picked up your fruit, that you get it picked up today. It has to leave the barn. So have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday.